Hi, I'm Rob Boyd, an English photographer from the UK. I decided to create this podcast series talking to international photographers whose work I truly love. I realised I knew nothing about these amazing people apart from their names and their stunning work. So I created a set of hopefully entertaining questions that finds out who they are and what they love. Hi Tid, nice to see you. Nice for you to join me. And if you could start by your name and your Instagram name, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, so Tid Brightly and Instagram, you know what, I always forget it, but it's tid.brightly. You'd think that would be simple to remember, right?
And have you got a website as well?
Yeah, and that is tidbrightly.com. The name Tid Brightly is a combination of various names I've been given over my life, right? And now you may not want this level of detail in your podcast, but I'm going to give it you anyway. And essentially, I was running another account. A lot of my work is working with clients around AI, right? I was working on another AI image, and I had to come up with a name for that AI image account. So then I was like, okay. So then I looked at the character of Roy in Blade Runner, right? The android. Right? And he has a conversation with one of the characters called Tyrrell. And they have this back and forth. Roy is like, I want to live all the time. And then Tyrrell replies to him, the light that burns twice as bright burns half as long, and you have burned so very, very brightly. And that became the name AI account, very bright.
That's amazing. That's great. You know, the thing is, I'm glad you explained that because I thought, it's just part and parcel of your name.
No, that's why I became Tid Brightly. Yeah.
Excellent. So, Mr. Brightly, where do you live?
London, north/northeast London, depend on how you look at it. But I've been in and out of London for like 20 odd years, and
you're definitely a Londoner then.
Well, yeah, Londoners wouldn't accept me.
And my question normally is, is there anything for tourists? But obviously, it's London.
Yeah, there's everywhere. But I suppose the thing is, if you think about when you're outside of London, London always seems like it's the big smoke, right? Whereas when you're in London, it feels like a collection of villages. And I think that's what I find really interesting, especially the whole connection of like, you can walk now to a river, to a city, to a street, to a motorway, or a 10-minute walk,
I mean, the thing is, you've got so many parks and so many, areas on your doorstep. There's always greenery there. It's just, and like I say, each district, each area is completely different. Good stuff. So if I visited you, where would you take me to shoot?
I'd probably take you down one of the canals, actually. I'd probably take you on that walk. Like, let's say you got into Paddington. I'd probably come and pick you up at Paddington, and then we do Paddington Basin. Stay on the water, walk all the way up around Regent's Park, through Camden, but still all through the canals. Such a different experience in the city, and amazing for photography and wildlife as well, actually.
Excellent. No, it's nice to see a different side as well, because obviously, do your pavement pounding, that's fine, but it'd be nice to see other things as well. Brilliant. So what's your favourite destination in the world?
You know what? I'm really poorly travelled, Rob. Really poorly travelled. So I think I have to say where I live. Well, London itself. Yeah. I mean, and what is the old expression? If you're tired of London, you're tired of life, right? Isn't that the cliche one?
No, it's fair enough. It's good that you love it. Okay. So, where would you like to visit then? What's on your list of places to visit?
This is so difficult. Actually, I've thought about this a lot, and I'd like to have a really clear, simple answer. But I feel like I want to visit a place I haven't seen any pictures of. How about that? Yeah, a really tricky one. But I think that's what I'd be most interested in because obviously Tokyo appeals, obviously. Grand Canyon, New York, but to arrive somewhere I've never seen before.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a good wish list anyway. Okay, so weird question time then. So, if you could time travel, where and when would you visit?
Okay, Rob, so this is dangerous for me, right? Because I lean in, as you can tell from my other answers, like I lean into sort of opening questions out anyway. And this for me is really challenging because you're always worried about how you come across, right? But I'm about to give an answer that makes me sound like an absolute idiot. But I sort of enjoy that. So here we go. Time travel. There's a brilliant book called The Time Traveler's Wife. It was made into a not so brilliant film, but the book itself is brilliant. And I read it at a really sort of transformational point in my life. And it's a romance novel as well. There's a love, well, that's a lie. There's a love story at the center of it. And the character travels through time, but he can only travel through his own time period, his own life. And we've seen that in various different sci-fis, right? But I think that's it. I'd like to go back and take pictures of the life I've lived from outside it, right? Not as like to see what I look like, but as a way of knowing myself differently and knowing myself in a way that as human beings, we never get the opportunity to, right? We never get the chance to see or experience ourselves and the world that we lived in from outside it. So try and edit that down to fit into a convenient 20 minutes.
No. I'm not even going to attempt it. That's a good answer. No point editing that. That's great. Absolutely. So, okay. So, if you could photograph anyone in history, who would you shoot?
You know, you've seen the film, I think it's called Lucy. And there's this great, it's another sci-fi movie. It's another great traveling all the way back to sort of like the first human being, right? And the first human being is a woman. And I think to have that experience of going back right to the beginning and taking a photograph of humanity's beginning, Jesus, what a picture that would be.
Yeah, no, see, these are good deep answers. I love this. This is great. So going from deep answers to a silly one, tell me a fun fact or a story about yourself.
You know what, Rob? There's so many. There's too many. Fun fact or stories gets dangerous. Yeah, fun fact. So every man in my family has been called Tid at some point in their life because connected to our surnames and connected to like how that surname gets interpreted. So everybody's been called Tid. My brother is called Tid. Dad was called Tid. His father was called Tid. And they've got uh, old cards from like granddad who signs off Tid or Tids. So, yeah.
Cool. And do you know where it came from? Do you know where the origin came from?
I don't think any of my family do, to be honest.
It's just carried on. Well, that's cool. It's nice to have a bit of mystery. Got to be a mystery man.
Yeah, exactly. Bit of mystery, bit of interesting factoid.
Okay. So, what's your favourite word? I know it's an odd question.
And it's a good question, because words, wow. Like for me, words are really important because I used to work with words quite a lot. I mean, I still do now, but in a different way than you used to. Um, but I also love like dialect and vernacular, and I can't escape some of the words that we grew up with in Liverpool. They were nearly always swear words that were the most powerful, especially because of the accent and how they carry. But I used to get into a lot of trouble for swearing in school. Got suspended quite a few times actually for saying words I shouldn't. But as a way to get me through it, I used to call people whopper. Jog on, you whopper. And I just really, really like the feel of it. As an insult as well, it's ridiculous. The problem is, I used to then put a swear word in front of it, so it defeated the point. Yeah, you whopper. Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, so as long as you remember the whopper bit, you're safe. Because it's an international podcast, teach me a new word or a saying I may not know.
Okay, you may like this one. I had a few in my head, obviously, because I saw the questions beforehand, but I think because of this, let's go with this. Aporia. So aporia is it's an English word, but it it's the idea that you reach an impasse. Something can't really be resolved, which I think is is a really sort of nice idea. I like the complexity of that. Like where something can't be resolved, it's aphoretic.
Excellent. See, I'm learning. I'm learning today. Excellent stuff. So, when did photography click for you? You know, obviously, excuse the pun, but what moment did you realise you could take a good photo?
I love a pun. Love a pun. So here's the thing. I've only been making photographs a very short period of time, right? As you know, it's like what? January 2024. So I'm not even into a year and a half, you know? And my first year was about making pictures every single day as a way of learning it. Now I'm learning it by reflecting on those pictures every single day and taking pictures maybe every other day, maybe every other three. Um, and all of it goes back to cinema, you know? If I think, when did I develop that aesthetic appreciation or artistic temperament? It was watching Superman when I was 3 years old. It was watching Rocky. It was watching American Werewolf in London. It was watching Back to the Future. It was watching Jaws. As Stuart mentioned, I listened the other day. He was talking about Jaws, but it was watching cinema that made me realize the aesthetic potential of the image. So I think it has to be then, 3 years old watching Superman.
Yeah. Brilliant. I think the thing is as well with your work though, because you've not been doing it long, but you've been doing a lot. I mean, it's a hit the floor running, straight in there, learn from your mistakes, you know, and then obviously define what you're doing. So, you know, and everything you pull out, colours, reflections, textures, they're brilliant. They're spot on. So, you know, even though you say it's not long, there's a lot of work in there. You know, you take a lot of shots, which is amazing.
For sure. Yeah. And I think you're right to point out that it is about learning. And we've talked about this before, but social media can throw you into trying to like grind your style really early or figure out what your style may be. And I think we forget that photographers in the past, their style was influenced much more by their limitations than their opportunities. Their style was found because of the mechanics of the material thing. And then the mechanics of how they could develop that with that particular paper and that particular fluid in those particular darkrooms. So a lot of their style wasn't just about them artistically expressing themselves. A lot of it was in response to their material conditions, right? And the challenge for us is that those material conditions are nearly unlimited now because we fake them, right? So we can add grain and we can take it away and we can get rid of noise and we can add it. So I know that's, again, a much longer answer than is good for your trim, but I think it's relevant.
And I think we also go back to stuff that we've done at the beginning that actually resonates now. I've done that before as got, oh, actually, you know, I think I discovered that earlier on, but didn't pick up on it.
The other day I posted, that really minimalist one, which was all about neons and lights. But that was taken in my first 2 months of working with a camera. But for some people, they read it as an evolution of my work because they're only seeing it now. So that's also fascinating.
Yeah. So, right, this is a really tricky question. So, favorite 3 photos, you got to narrow it down to 3 and why you like them.
Okay. So let's just get this out of the way, that this is my favorite 3 photos that I'm saying at this moment in time right now. And within 10 seconds, I may feel different, even as I say it. Yeah. Okay. So now I've sort of saved myself from that difficulty. It has to be the poppy. And there's 2 versions of this poppy. There's a version that's posted on Instagram, and then there's a version in my book, in my digital book. And they're actually 2 different versions, but I like them both for different ways. The one on Instagram is much cleaner, so it works much better in that small environment. It's the poppy with a canal behind it, underneath a weeping willow, reflections of light coming through. Then there's a really recent one, which is the boy in the Chinese medicine shop cleaning the window, and he's just behind that glass. And that's really recent. And that's part of my local project, which is based around N15 and N16. So that's like not a city shot, it's a local project. And then the cover, I'm now contradicting myself. So there's 2 others. So you're going to get 4. So there's 2 others. There's a girl walking in front of the big, colorful LED display that looks like a piece of art. And that, I think, is like the first image on my website. So the surprised, yeah, she's one of the first images. The other one that goes with that is the girl's hand in the bus window, and her eye is just through it. And that's the back cover of the book.
So I like the connection as well. So it's nice that you physically think when you're planning something out, that's where they're going to be, and that's why they mean something. Brilliant. So what advice would you give a new photographer? Obviously you've gone at breakneck speed. What what would you do from the beginning?
Well, because I'm teaching workshops a lot now. Like I was teaching, the reason I couldn't get to the festival the other week in the morning is because I was teaching a workshop. So I think about this question a lot. Get to know your camera. And I mean that, I don't mean just learn what it can do technically. I mean, get to know it, like explore it. What happens if you turn the dial this way and it's this bright? And test it at home, not always on the street. Like put something close to you, put something mid-ground, put something background, and pull focus between those 3. And do it at 1.2 and do it at f16 and then do it at f8. And then look at those images that you get back and ask yourself, what does it do to you? Like, what's it doing when your foreground is blurry and liquid and fluid, but something in the distance is sharp? What's that do in terms of your understanding compared to if you have a spread of sharpness from foreground to back, and everything has a share of the image in terms of sharpness and detail? So get to know your camera. And then obviously with that, you're practicing it all the time, even when you're not holding it.
Because that was my COVID test ground. That was basically what I did in COVID. I just did everything. I took pictures of toys. I got, everything. Just whatever you got in your hand, whatever you got. Go outside, inside, outside. Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, good advice. Perfect. Absolutely brilliant. So what's next for you then? What are your photography goals going forward? Obviously, you're a busy fella, so you must have quite a bit.
Yeah. So there's 2 projects out there now at the moment on the website. I pulled from those projects and posts on Instagram connected to those projects. One of those projects is underground. One of those projects is local, and 15 and 16. There's another project, which is portraits. I mean, I remember really early on, I got a message from somebody after seeing my portraits, especially my portraits through glass, and them saying, "Oh, you should check out Dawn Eagleton's work." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know this person at the time," and looked and saw that that was her focus and specialism. I know she'd done a lot of other stuff, but yeah, candid street portraits have been always there, and they're there as a collection, and they run through the digital book. So that's a project that I've got to pull together and refine and go, I do portraits as well, and that most of them are candid, and so many of them are eye contact. So many of them are them looking directly at me, because I don't hide what I do.
Yeah, and I mean, Dawn's amazing at that. I mean, she's just
incredible,
natural talent, absolutely amazing. So yeah, that's a good person to aspire to, 100%.
And to see her talk about it and to see her new work in her presentation as well was really something. It was really lovely to see that, and for her to share that new work as well.
I was unlucky. I missed that, unfortunately, but yeah.
And then I missed you, so I was unlucky as well.
Well, there you go. See, we were lucked out all over, And the thing is, it's great when we meet up. I mean, we don't do it often, but when you're not a busy fella and I'm not in the middle of Wiltshire, then yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks for being my guest. It's amazing. I love your work. I mean, I tell you every bloody time, so I don't have to tell you again, but for everybody else, his work's brilliant.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you for having me on. And thank you for doing this, because I've listened every week. If I've not listened when it came out, I've listened like days after and caught up. And your instinct was absolutely right, that finding out about the people, finding out about how they think and feel about their own work, it is really fascinating and it is really interesting. So it's been a real pleasure to do, and to watch, because I do it on YouTube, to watch their photos as they're talking. It's a really lovely part of it.
Yeah, well, that's my favourite, to be fair. It's obviously hearing everyone talking to it, doing what we're doing now, but to see their work come up as they're describing it, that was the concept from the beginning. It was just like, God, I've not seen anybody do that, as in not something to be original, but something I really want. I'm doing it for my own selfish reasons.
Yeah, great. I don't think there's a better reason to do something, to be honest.
Yeah. Right. Well, take care, and I really appreciate you being here, mate. It's nice to talk to you.
And you. Thanks, Rob.